Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a mystery film from the United States, English language, released in the year 2019, directed by David Robert Mitchell, and this film is called Under the Silver Lake. So Under the Silver Lake is about this young man. He has recently lost his job. His girlfriend is basically not in love with him anymore, and so he is not knowing what to do with his life. So he's living in this little complex, and in the complex he comes across this beautiful young woman. Now he starts to see her, he starts to become captivated by her, but then all of a sudden she mysteriously disappears. So he wants to know what's happened, and he goes on this journey of discovery that is going to put him in some really bizarre places and send him amongst conspiracy theories. And so what those conspiracy theories are and whether or not he's actually in danger, the closer he gets to the truth of the whereabouts of this mysterious woman, is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Under the Silver Lake. I thought this is a very intriguing premise, and it was a very intriguing director. He is the same director who made It Follows, and that was a horror film that really took everyone by storm. It was a horror movie that I didn't really love as much as a lot of other people did. I thought that movie had problems, but it's definitely a very interesting director because he created a very good atmosphere in that film. That was a genuinely creepy movie, and it really understood what it was to scare an audience, is that there was some very, very memorable qualities that made that movie definitely worth seeing. Although it wasn't a masterpiece, it was still very worthwhile, is because it was genuinely creepy. And so for that, I really wanted to see what he was going to produce in Under the Silver Lake. This is a very different film. It was not necessarily a horror film, although it does have a deeply unsettling atmosphere. I still thought, alright, well, this is going to show the talents of David Robert Mitchell, and what is he going to produce in this movie. And what he produces in this film is a classic throwback to 50s noir, and also the sense of paranoia and conspiracy theorists, and that in turn makes Under the Silver Lake an incredibly fun experience. This is a movie like an adventure, and with an adventure you're getting clues as to the investigation that is leading this man on a very bizarre journey. And this bizarre journey, includes a list of very bizarre characters that are larger than life, and I thought it was just an incredibly funny experience, but at the same time it has that incredible sense of unsettling material, and that unsettling material creates a very absorbing atmosphere. And so David Robert Mitchell is great in actually creating an atmosphere, creating that sense that something is not right, and that was evident in It Follows, and it's evident in Under the Silver Lake. Although it's a different kind of film, it still has that same feeling that is menace. It's basically ominous that something really bad is around the corner. You can't really put your finger on what that bad thing is, but this movie has that. It has so many genres put into one. You've got a sense of thriller, you've got a sense of mystery, and that mystery has a lot of questions that beg answering, and when they're answered, it goes on to another aspect of the film. And so it always, the movie has these layers, and when one question is answered, it has another question that's equally as interesting. And that's what you need in a mystery film. You need that mysterious quality, you need that curious quality for the viewer to go on this journey with this character. And I thought the main character, he goes on this journey and you want to go on that with him, and that's ultimately a very important thing. It is imperative that you have that mysterious quality, you have that level of interest, and David Robert Mitchell definitely creates that interest. So as I said, it's a throwback to 50s noir in that it is an investigative kind of film. What happened to this beautiful young woman? You've got a soundtrack that is very similar to movies of this period, and as I said, you've got that element that, alright, it's almost like an investigation, or almost like those old-fashioned films where the private investigator is going through and he's trying to determine what's going on. And so I thought it was a nostalgic throwback, and that's something I liked. I'm not a massive fan of 50s noir, but I could appreciate what this director was trying to do. And then you've also got a take on popular culture, and so that's another thing that I really, really liked. Whether it's cereal that you ate as a kid, whether it's music, pop music, I thought the way that this director integrated all this pop culture into the overall method of conspiracy was absolutely fantastic. It created something that I thought was really creative. It was very different, and it shows the level of imagination that this director has. And integrating pop culture with 50s noir, it snowballs into something that I thought was just incredibly intriguing. And that's the best part of the film, is that it is intriguing and it just lures you with that sense of atmosphere, that sense that, all right, you're on a leash and this director is taking you on a journey. And that journey I thought was definitely worthwhile. I thought the acting from Andrew Garfield, especially the main character, was fantastic. It was a very, very quirky performance that was led from him. And then you've got the supporting cast that come into the movie that I thought was equally as interesting. Not one character takes center stage. Even the main character, although the main character is focused on his journey, when these other characters come into the film, I thought they were equally as interesting. And so no one really hogs the limelight, therefore I never felt as though any character was unneeded. I thought every character was imperative to the story's progression, the story's snowball, and the expansion of this world that David Robert Mitchell has managed to create. So the atmosphere is fantastic. As I said, there's a level of curiosity, there's a little level of intrigue, and there's also a level of fear, that very unsettling atmosphere that the further this main character gets to the truth, the more dark this movie is starting to get. And so it does have that fun quality, but that fun quality is matched by a very unsettling quality. So you might not necessarily want to know what the truth is, but it's that fun that you just go along on the journey with it. And so I thought that was great. There are some very nasty moments that took me by surprise, and so that was very good. The element of surprise is always a positive in a film, and I thought that there was a level of unpredictability because the story is really crazy. And when you watch the film, you'll know what I mean. Because it's really crazy, craziness in turn creates unpredictability, and that's ultimately what the film has going for it as well. So as I said, you have a very, very interesting film, a very creative film. It's a movie that indicates that this director is very good at what he does, but unfortunately I thought the movie was a little bit too long. Now yes, it doesn't really outstay its welcome. It's not a movie where I'm thinking, hurry up and finish, I'm getting bored, but it was on the brink of being that kind of film, is because it is over 2 hours, and I thought if it was a little bit editing here and there, it could have been a little bit better. I thought the continuity was a little bit disjointed, especially in the last quarter of this movie, and so I thought that it wasn't, as I said, it wasn't bogged down completely. It doesn't derail the experience, but it's on the brink of that. I thought to myself, all right, well, come on, you really have to hurry up a little bit and get to the end, is because, all right, for the majority of this film, the journey is fantastic, but then right at the end, I thought as though it stalled a little bit, and so that was the only criticism I have of what was, as I said, a very intriguing and a very fun film. If you're a fan of It Follows, you want to see something a little bit different, but a director who keeps his trademark of creating a really good atmosphere and throwing into the mix, some turns on pop culture and noir films, then Under the Silver Lake is definitely for you. It's a very creative movie, and creativity definitely has to be welcomed in a world that is full of cliches, and recycled material. And so when David Robert Mitchell and the likes come along, definitely have to support them, and as a result of that, I only give Under the Silver Lake 3.5 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.